All righty. Hello, friends. Welcome today. I'm super excited about the conversation that I'm going to have with my friend, Amanda Fontaine. Amanda, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I told you it's my very first one ever.
Well, you know what I already said about that, but we're not going to say it on the line. I'm so excited that this is your first podcast, and I'm actually shocked. So we're just going to have a fun conversation today. So thank you for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule and joining us here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so you guys, we're continuing on the a podcast series. This is episode number 116, and this is about the faith-fueled woman's secret. And Amanda is a perfect guest to have a conversation around what is a secret weapon that sadly a lot of women are not utilizing. And in fact, we're going to talk about the power of connection and friendships and even specificity on how to up-level this in your life. And Amanda is a prime example and has extensive, I'm going to read her bio here in just a moment. But we're going to talk about this conversation about building strong connections, stepping into leadership, and taking intentional steps to create a supportive, high level connections and community in your life. Okay, so Amanda, before I read your bio, I think this is a fun story just about how we kind of locked arms. You know, we talk a lot in the communities that I coach and in the work that I do about iron sharpening iron, literally as women linking arms together. And I always I envision it just like this strong stance that we're linking arms together to move forward and to move other women forward, to champion other women. And you are such a beautiful example of this.
Oh, you are. I think back to, I was trying to think about how we first met.
Yeah.
And I guess the first time was through Circle of Red with the American Heart Association. Okay. And then I asked you to be on the steering committee, and you graciously said yes. So we got to know each other a little more through that. But then I just think back to the Christmas party at Brenda's house. It's kind of really how all of this came about.
It is. It is. And I've got to tell you, that was such a important conversation for me, because what happened was, let me just tell you, let me break it down. What happened was, I had seen you at church. You're in the welcoming committee at church. We go to church together. And so I was familiar with seeing you at church, and so seeing you in Circle of Red, which is a community, it's I guess a social circle for the American Heart Association, which is near and dear to my heart because of health and wellness and, you know, all the work that I do with that. So it was a natural fit for me. But I've been intentional to build my circle and my community and my network over the last several years. It's something that I had not been doing. And so I stepped into this, and then the Lord's called me to this event that I've got coming up, the Worthy Woman Summit. And so I started to be super intentional about, I realized, okay, there's no way I can do this thing on my own. Now, God's called me to do it, but He's going to bring me other people to help me with it. We're in Daniel Anderson's Alchemy audio studios, and he's one of our who's to help us with this event. And then I just started opening. I believe that what we look for, we find. And I knew that God was going to bring leadership into the midst to help have this event. And so we're at this party. Brenda Barron, shout out to Brenda.
That's right. We love Brenda.
We love Brenda. But I was stepping out of my comfort zone. I was like, I've never been. She invited me to go. So now I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, intentionally trying to meet other people. And you and I connected at that party, and you were like, I saw something about this event. I would love to know more about it. And I talked to you a little bit about it. And you said, I would love to help. And I'm learning to ask bold questions, to have bold ask. I'm like, yes, when can you meet? And we're both planners. So excited that we had that God moment at Brenda's house that night. And we met immediately after that. And I'm like, oh, she's my people. She is my type of people. You came with your pencil and you were ready to take notes and like, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm like, oh, I love her. So amazing. So super excited that you're a part of this leadership for the event. So thank you so much. And for all that you're bringing to that. It's amazing.
I am thrilled to be a part of it. Very excited about it. Can't wait.
Oh, we're going to tell y'all more about that here in a minute. All right. Before we get started, I want to read Amanda's bio. And I even condensed it because I was like, wow. Now, you are right now currently the executive director for the Mississippi Association of Broadcasters, right?
That's correct. Yes.
How have you had that position?
5.5 years now.
Oh, okay. Do you love it?
I do love it. I get the opportunity to work with all of the radio and television stations throughout Mississippi. Amazing group of people.
Amazing. Okay, so tell us a little bit about that role and what you do there.
I do all kinds of fun things. I do all of their events. We just had a Women in Broadcasting event where we recognized our second Woman of the Year, which is exciting considering what we're talking about in today's podcast.
Yeah.
We do conferences. We do awards events. So when you hear we were selected as Television Station of the Year, that's from Mississippi Association of Broadcasters Awards. We do all kind of lobbying efforts, so national and state, really just kind of anything they need. They can send me questions about, hey, I need an attorney to answer a question for me about what needs to go in my political file, and I get them the answer. So I just work with them in so many different ways, but it's so much fun.
Well, and you're so all over the place too. Like I'll be texting you details about this. You're like, oh, I'm in such and such state for the week. I'll be back on Friday. Oh, I'm over here. Like you're leading, you're speaking, you're doing all different types of activities. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just all over the place. That's amazing.
I do feel all over the place sometimes. My husband's like, are you at home this week or where are you?
I don't know. Let me check my schedule.
Yeah, exactly. I pretty much go week by week.
Yes. I love it. Okay. So you are a seasoned consultant with over 20 years experience in nonprofit management, fundraising, and leadership. She is a former executive director and board member for more than 30 organizations, and she has played pivotal roles in strengthening nonprofits through strategic planning, governance, and sustaining fundraising initiatives. Amanda's expertise extends into leadership development, having designed, listen to this, training programs for 3 Chamber of Commerces. She served for president of 2, and she's mentored future leaders through Leadership Mississippi. Amanda is a certified trainer for the 10-Minute Trainer Network and Excellence in Action through the Mississippi Alliance of Nonprofits and Philanthropy, where she leads numerous workshops. Coupled with extensive professional experience, she speaks, facilitates capacity building workshops, training, certification, and has coached over 100 organizations. Girlfriend, you go with your bad self. That's amazing. That's amazing. She has an MBA from Delta State University. Amanda has not only contributed to the business sector, but she's also taught management, marketing courses, and shaped the next generation of leaders. Her dedication to service and leadership has earned her recognition as one of Mississippi Business Journal's top 50 women in business, among many other honors. So glad to have you here. So glad to share, for you to be able to share your expertise and experience in leadership and being with women and just supporting women along the way. So Amanda, a couple of things that I find just working with you, the short term that I've worked with you, is that one of the things that I see about you from the back end, and you're not trying to have this recognition right here that I'm about to say, you're a true champion of women. Even just within the small circle that we have, I have seen you come in and say, hey guys, we're going to do this. Everybody show up for this. Hey guys, we're going to do this. Let's show up for Jamie's event. Hey guys, it's Catherine's. Let's have a baby shower. So what is it? What do you feel? What is it when you're going about life that you're like, how do you envision being able to support other women to just champion them?
Well, I feel like I have the best circle of friends, and I thank God for them every morning. I really do. I'm so blessed to have so many friends in so many different capacities, and thinking about just how people have nurtured me. I was telling you earlier that when I moved to the Jackson area, I had the best experience because I moved from the Delta to Jackson. I might have known 3 people here. And just even from volunteering through other organizations, through Junior Auxiliary, I had friends from Junior Auxiliary here that were like, hey, come with me to this chamber event. Hey, do you want to be part of our bridge group? Hey, do you want to do this with me? And as you go and you do those things, then you meet more people and more like minded women, and your circle gets larger and larger and larger. And I always say, don't be scared to ask for a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
People have called and said, hey, I see that you're really involved in the community. Would you mind mentoring me? And I always say, absolutely, because I had the same people that did that for me. And I'm like, yes, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Professional Women's Association? Do you want to go to Reservoir Career Women? Do you want to be part of Junior League? Like, what do you want to do? Like, let's talk about this. Like, let's set some goals and make it happen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I hope you guys can see how contagious her energy is, but also how my mentor called it the honor matrix, that we have people that help lift us higher and call us higher, and we always have a responsibility to help someone else come higher as well. And I love that you are like, absolutely, you always say yes. And not only that, you put it to action. Where do you want to go? It's like you meet them where they're at. Where do you want to go? And let's get you moving. And you're that bridge to help them get there, where it may be awkward or uncomfortable to step into an uncomfortable space. I just love your heart, and I hope you guys can see her heart is so pure, and her motivation is truly to elevate others. Because when one rises, we all rise, right? And when you got started, when you were getting started into your own journey, how old were you when you moved here to Jackson area?
It was about 20 years ago.
Okay.
So 33.
Okay. And then how long have you been in the professional sector working?
I was executive director for the Mississippi Burn Foundation for 15 years before coming to MAB.
Okay.
So for a very long time, yeah.
Yeah. For a very long time. Do you believe having a strong circle of women is crucial for your own success and your own personal growth?
Absolutely. Even thinking back to, I just started my new consulting company called She Gets Success. And thinking about that, I had a dear friend, Candy Simmons, who had also started her new consulting company about a year before. And she was the sweetest. She said, oh my God, I'm so excited that you're finally doing this. You come meet with me. Let's talk about this. I will help you do anything, because someone did the same thing for me when I started my business. And I kept going, wow, am I good enough to do this? Like, I'm just not sure. And absolutely you are. And you always need the encouragement and the empowerment from others. And so I appreciate her so much for everything that she's done. It was funny that you said earlier you don't say no, and that is a terrible, terrible problem that I have. And Candy and I just partnered on a little workshop together. And I talked about time management, and then I turned it over to her, and I was like, and this is how not to be like Amanda, because Candy's going to talk about the power of saying no.
That's right.
And I have a terrible time saying no. I don't know why. I feel like I'm going to hurt someone's feelings if I tell them no.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, I have to think about this. And someone looked at me one time and said, Amanda Fontaine, I have no doubt that you can do anything that you set your mind to, but you can't do everything. And I was like, wow, I hate that, but he's really right.
Yeah.
And even just thinking about my friend group, they know how I am, and they'll say, this group's going to ask you to do this, and this is not one of your 3 priorities, and you tell them no.
Good.
And they'll follow back up and say, did you say no to that?
Good.
So accountability is so important.
Accountability is so important. Okay, so you talked about She Gets Success, which is your personal brand. And tell us a little bit more about that and how you can serve women through that. Is it a business? Tell me what it is, a little bit more about that.
It is a consulting business, yes. And I love doing workshops. Love doing
Yeah.
workshops, getting the audience involved, talk about many different topics. I have a ridiculous number of topics, but time management is one of my favorite. I have a women's leadership program called She Leads that I'm very excited about. I even teach things like Robert's Rules of Order. Someone was like, "What is Robert's Rules of Order?" And I was like, "Well, if you're on a board or you have a board that reports to you, you need to know Robert's Rules of Order." And so my goal is always like, okay, let's make this fun and exciting. And I've never put anyone to sleep so far.
No, there's no way you could fall asleep with you. Well, after you started talking and we started to collaborate on this upcoming event, the Worthy Woman Summit, I was like, I think I need you to speak here. I didn't even realize, your vast expertise. So Amanda is going to be speaking about time management and how important is that for you? You've got a lot of different roles, and you're a mom, and you're a wife, and you serve at our church, and you serve on many boards, and you have a nonprofit. Do you have a puppy too? Do you have a dog? Do you have animals?
I don't have a dog.
Okay, but you
No.
probably don't need one. Okay, so how do you squeeze it all in? Let's talk a little bit about time management and why this is so important.
Well, I normally sit down on Sunday evenings and schedule my week. And you mentioned strategic planning earlier. It made me think about last week, I was in a networking, actually, women's networking group
Yeah.
at luncheon, and the speaker talked about strategic planning. And she made the comment, she said, if you're a mom, you do strategic planning every week. And so I do my strategic planning on Sunday evenings, thinking about what are my goals for the week? What are my 3 priority items every day? This is everything that I have to get done. And how do I make sure that it all gets done and gets done well?
Mm-hmm. I love that. And as a high performance coach, I do the same exact thing. And you're obviously a very high performer. Most people spend 80% of their time doing things that don't matter, whether it's things, oftentimes when we don't have our priorities identified, we don't know what they, and I call them needle movers. Like, what are the things that move the needle forward in our lives? And when we can stop and intentionally engage our week and engage the deeper parts of ourselves that align with the goals, where we're headed, where we're going, and be able to look at our week, you're like, okay, I have to get these things done this week. And being able to focus on those priorities is so huge. And I love that you just brought that up. I mean, I just kind of want to take a little side shift here, because if women could listen to this, it would shift and change their lives. And you're going to be teaching in depth about this at the event, as you're going to talk about productivity and time management and how do you actually take this, apply this, and move it into your life. And so once you learn how to, I call it really in high performance, we're looking to master certain things, and we're looking to master productivity. And because it feels really crappy, either when you're doing things that don't matter as much, or wasting time scrolling on social media, or just scrolling your life away, or sitting in front of the TV too much. It's like, we all have 24/7, right?
That's right.
Okay. So Amanda, with your consulting business, so you take women and you help, what does that process look like as you work with them?
As far as just the women are concerned?
Yeah. Like, let's say somebody comes to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to work with Amanda because I want to do what? Who is the perfect avatar for your business?
Oh, I just love mentoring.
I love that.
I love it. And I think you can never have too many mentors. Something else that you said earlier made me think about, I told you that Candy was my mentor for She Gets Success, but I will never forget that we both go to Pine Lake. And in one of the sermons, Chip said, you need a mentor. And that afternoon, I prayed about it and I reached out to someone. And this particular person had said, I knew she had said no to several things because she's just like, I'm too busy, I can't do it. And I reached out to her and said, hey, in church this morning, Chip said that I need a mentor, and I've prayed about this, and I want you to be my faith mentor. And I didn't know how she was going to reply. And I was like, I know that you're so busy and that you said no to things, but I just really felt called to talk to you about this. And she reached back out and said, absolutely, 100%. So honored that you asked me, and I would never say no. And just even to have someone that's like, hey, can you pray for me today? Like, this is what I'm going through. Just need a quick prayer. And to have a faith mentor is just amazing.
I would love to unpack so many things that you just said there. So, you guys, as you're listening to this, number one, there's this beautiful humility. It takes humility to say, oh, my leader, my pastor recommends this, that we all need a mentor. Oh, I need a mentor. And then you had somebody in mind. When you're looking for a mentor, look for someone who's doing life right. Look for qualities that you want to have in your own life. Look for someone who's successful in that area and that is inspirational to you, right? So I love that and then you took initiative and then you took action. And that's why you are so successful in so many areas, that a lot of women, they hear that, but then they get intimidated or they get nervous or they let the fear of rejection. Maybe they might say no. And what do you say to the woman who's listening to you going, wow, she's just a mover and a shaker. I wish I were more like that. I wish I took more initiative. I wish I took more action. What would you say to that woman who's maybe stuck in some fear, some insecurity, some self-doubt, and they're just feeling a little stuck?
I think they need to be empowered by some other fabulous friend. And they need to think about what is it that they want to do and set their goals. And maybe you take baby steps to achieve those goals. But if you're not involved in something, then volunteer.
Oh, that's great advice. Yeah.
Get involved with others. Come to our fabulous event. Get involved with other like-minded women.
Yeah.
And you have to be intentional. You said that word earlier, and I know that it's used so much today. Some people are like, oh, that's overused. I love the word intentional and purposeful.
Yeah.
I always say even people, for example, that come to Rotary, I'm just saying something off the top of my head. I always say, if you're a new member, don't sit at the same table with the same people every week. It's about networking, meet new friends. But again, you have to be intentional. If I sit at your table today and I meet you, then I'm going to follow up with you maybe tomorrow morning and say, hey, Amy, it was so nice to meet you today. Would love to catch up. Can we have a cup of coffee or lunch sometime and just talk about, how we might be able to work together in some way?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I just want to break down everything that you're saying, like from a coaching perspective, but put bullet points to it. You guys go back and listen to episode 115. I actually broke down what you need to do in networking opportunities when you have them. And to your point, when you have an opportunity, look for it's called strong ties and weak ties. So we have our strong relationships. We're comfortable with them. Those are the tables we sit at. But we build our network by looking for relationships. Maybe it's an acquaintance. Maybe it's somebody that looks familiar. Like you and I would have been more of acquaintances. But at that party, we took a weak tie and it became a strong tie to collaborate and work together. And the power of the following up with somebody, they say in business, the fortune's in the follow-up. It 100% is. But that opportunity to connect with a text or maybe it's a professional email, whatever is appropriate for that circumstance in that situation. I just attended a networking event in Miami last weekend, and I went a little bit over the details of this in episode 115. But we connect in multiple ways. So how do you connect with someone? Well, in our day and age, we connect on social media. Follow somebody, hop in their DMs, get to know them, text, email, whatever that means, but authentically, genuine, and non-transactional. That's the big keyword here, I think. Sometimes people look at networking and it's like it's an opportunity to get another leg up, or they can use this person to get to the next person. No, like be a good human. And things just happen naturally because of that. Don't you agree?
I 100% agree. I was just having another thought too. It may be that someone that's listening to us is not really in the professional
Mhm,
world.
mhm.
So if you have kids, get involved in PTO at school.
Yeah,
That's a way to meet people. If you go to a ball game with a child, be intentional that you go meet some of the other parents.
yeah, yeah. At a play group. I remember when my kids were little, we moved a lot, and I think it's almost easier when you have little children because children connect, and it's easy. You've got such a similar life stage. But just go and introduce yourself to someone. You've got to get out of your comfort zone. And so for those that if you're like, oh my gosh, Amanda's clearly an extrovert, and I think Amy is too. It's easy for them. Well, the reality is that what is it that you want? So maybe you're an introvert and this is like freaking you out. I just want to challenge you right here is that isolation and being alone in life honestly is a choice. And it takes intentionality and it takes conscious choices and goals really to build your network and to build your community. But rich relationships is where it's at. And you've got to put yourself in rooms, in places to meet people and to oftentimes, we were talking before we started this. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get yourself in another room. You need to level up. And this could be your secret weapon to the next level of joy, of happiness in your life. To build your inner circle is crucial. Another mentor of mine said you need to have 5 people in your inner circle on speed dial that you could say, I need you to pray for this and this and this. You need 5 people. And I realized at that point in time, I don't have 5 people on my speed dial for my inner circle. Well, if you don't either, that's your job. That just became your job. You go build what you want in your life, right?
That should be your goal.
That should be
And
your goal.
I have met people that really were introverts, and it's amazing how they transformed
Yeah.
and are totally extroverts now.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. 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 Well, it's just so important. You've got to decide what do you want in life? Yeah. What do I want? What do I want? And I hit a point, and as we're starting to kind of wrap up, I hit a point in my life many years ago. So I'm not from here. And when I moved to this area, and I know people are going to be watching this from all over, really the world, but when I moved to my particular area, I was ridden with guilt. I felt like such a loser. I was going through my second divorce, and all I wanted to do was hide. I felt so ashamed of my life, what had become of my life. I was overcoming a lot of trauma and domestic violence and abuse. That's all in my background. But what that did is I just wanted to hide and shrink because I would see women, they had successful lives, maybe careers, maybe families, whatever. And I felt like I was never good enough, that I didn't measure up. And so even though I might look, I am confident now and I will walk into a room, I still struggle with, oh, I have to fight some negative nanny pants in my brain. Like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be here when that's not the truth. And I know that. So instead of allowing my insecurities and my fears to hold me back, I just became very intentional because I was really lonely. And what I was doing to hide and shrink and play small was suffocating my soul. It really was. And then I got the call from God to step up, go use your voice and help women walk worthy. And that scared the crap out of me. I was like, no, I'm the girl that hides and shrinks. So if you're hearing this and you might be looking at Amanda, or you might be looking at even myself and just being like, well, that's easy for y'all. I'm going to say for me, it hasn't been easy. It has been very hard. And, but what we do, we become better at. And the more you get yourself out there, it becomes a little bit easier. So I just want to like challenge you in this moment. Where can you go? What room could you put yourself in this week? Over the next 2 weeks, like force yourself. You can go on like Facebook and you can look under, events. I think it's called events. There's all sorts of things going on in communities all over There's networking events, there's networking lunches, there's small groups at churches, there's Rotary Club you've mentioned. What are a few other ideas, Amanda?
Junior league, junior
Yeah.
auxiliary, anything like that.
Yeah. Help the community.
Absolutely. Those are some of my closest friends that I have now, and I would have never met them
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
it not been for those organizations.
I love that. I love that. And I know that when I was stepping out of my comfort zone and just like realizing, okay, I'm lonely here. Here's the thing. I kept waiting for people to come to me. And then I kind of felt sorry for myself. And then I played a little bit of victim, like, well, I'm just different than everybody here. Nobody likes me. And wah, 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 wah. And finally, I was like, no, girl, if it's to be, it's up to me. Like, you got to put yourself out there. So if you're waiting for somebody to come to you, newsflash, nobody's coming. You got to get yourself out. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, maybe somebody needs to speak those words of truth to you this morning. I had to speak them to myself. And so there's something really powerful when we step into a place of service to others. And volunteer work is you will meet some of the most incredible people ever. I remember the first time I went to Shower Power. I was so scared. I went down there by myself. I was scared to go. I was so nervous. I had to make myself go. And I went, and it changed my life. It was like my people. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be here. I wish I could go every Friday and volunteer, but I can't. It doesn't fit my schedule. But I am such a champion of the work that they do and try to get down there as much as I can. So, okay, as we're wrapping this up, one thing that you can do to come and have yourself poured into and to also skill up and to get some personal development, some professional development by Amanda, by myself, and by a lot of other incredible, remarkable speakers is to come join us at the Worthy Woman Summit. Girl, you excited about this?
I am super excited about it. We want everyone to come see us.
Let's go!
That is Daniel's voice. He is doing the production and the sound and the audio for it. Like, it is taking a village to put this thing on, but we're so excited. And the power of an event, the power of putting yourself in the room. Now, here's the thing. It's an investment. It is an investment. When you learn to make investments in yourself, you level up usually before the event even starts, because there's something about the transaction that helps the transformation. So if you're looking for that next level in your life, if you're looking to skill up, if you're looking for the opportunity to come and have somebody pour into you, but walk away with frameworks, walk away with resources, walk away with an action plan. You will walk away with an action plan here. Walk away with energy and excitement. This event can change your life. So we want to encourage you to join us at the Worthy Woman Summit. We can't wait. That is March 20. There's a kickoff party the 27th, and then it's all day the 28th and 29th. It's going to be energetic. It's going to be dynamic. This beautiful soul's going to be there. That beautiful soul, you can't see Daniel over there. You'll be the only man there besides my husband. You'll be the only man there. Randy will be there. And maybe Lisa's husband. So it's all girls, y'all. It's all girls. I'm just saying, it's all girls. So anyway, okay, Amanda, tell everybody where they can reach out to you, find you, connect with you.
My cell number is 601.
Oh, no, don't give that. Wait.
555.
Hang on, no. We don't want that. We've got to work on your boundaries. Okay, wait, no. Like, what is
How about at shegetssuccess.com? Does that work? It still has my cell phone number on there, though,
let's talk
and my
about that.
email. Yes.
Okay, let's talk about your cell phone number. We got to talk about boundaries with you. But anyway, okay, thank you so much for being here with us today. I know you're so busy. You're off to the next thing and leading all the other things. Thank you for sharing your personality. Just thank you for stepping up in so many areas of leadership and just all of the work that you're doing. Jesus is all over you. You shine so bright. And on the back, I mean, what I see just kind of watching her, she is such a champion of all women. And I just appreciate that in you. And I just want to speak that over you. Girl, you keep being as bubbly as you are, authentically. Like when you walk into a room, the room is brighter because you are there. So just thank you for being you.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right, you guys. Well, we're going to continue this conversation. Thank you for joining me on the podcast today. Have an amazing day. Bye.